While bullying as a whole had lasting impacts on me, her messages were some of the worst and most persistent I ever received, and I still can't... Hold on. I still can't bring myself to delete them? Hang on. Hang on a second here. What do you mean? You're 30? And you were bullied as a teenager? Bro, delete the messages. What are you doing? I'm just saying I wouldn't be this mean to her about it or try to get the whole class to be against. This is irrelevant. Your feelings, this is projection is what this is called, okay? Projection, shouldn't do it. Should never do it. You shouldn't say, well, this is how I would feel, so this is how you should feel. I wouldn't have forced myself to silently snack for a roommate. God, I hate these people, man. I hate them so much. That's... Just because you get home at 4, like, that is your specific situation. That is not their situation. Am I the asshole for accidentally letting a boy in the room while my friend was naked? Spicy. My class went on a school trip, and we were staying in rooms with 3 to 6 people. I was in a room with my best friend and 2 other girls. The showers and bathrooms were not by the rooms, but down the hall, and my best friend went there to shower and walked back to our room with just a towel wrapped around her. When she was in her room, she put it away and went up into her bunk bed to get dressed, I guess. I don't know what she was doing up there. Well, there's no ages, by the way. Okay. When she was in our room, she put... I assume they're in... I mean, it's a school trip, so I'm assuming we're talking, like, high school, probably. High school age. When she was in our room, she put it away. I don't know what she was doing up there because I was in the bed under hers, but she had enough time to put on a shirt. We always hung out with the kids from the other rooms, and our door was never locked unless we locked it when we wanted to change, but she didn't do that. I would assume it's because you were in there. Like, you would lock it if you wanted to change. I mean, you knew, like, I don't know. You obviously knew she needed to change. If she came in with a towel, obviously she needed to put clothes on, so I don't know why that's relevant. That she didn't lock the door herself. Then someone knocked on the door. Okay. She says there was enough time for her to put on a shirt. So, I'm assuming she didn't just walk in, go up on the bunk bed, and, like, immediately there was a knock on the door. I don't know how much time we're talking here. Enough time to put on a shirt is, like, 2 seconds, isn't it? So, like, what are we talking about, enough time to put on a shirt? I don't know. Then someone knocked on the door, and I just said yes automatically, and a boy from our class came in and saw my friend without a shirt and immediately closed the door again. I didn't really think before answering, and I didn't think she would still be naked either. Oh boy. She got really mad at me and insulted me and went to stay in another girl's room. Our teacher came to, and I explained to her, and she wasn't mad at me. And the other girls from our room were on my side too because I didn't do it on purpose, and it was also her job to lock the door when she wants to change like we all do too. I apologize, but she didn't talk to me for the rest of the trip and didn't talk to me in days now, even after we got home. She acts like I did it on purpose because I wanted to embarrass her, and that's probably what she told the other students as well, but it's just not true. I think it's not worth losing a friendship over, but I don't know, she doesn't seem to forgive me. Am I the asshole or is she being dramatic? I would forgive her too right away because it was an accident. It's embarrassing. I don't think there's, like, enough details here. It's so weird. Because, I mean, if you just said yes, I mean, that's not necessarily, like, an invitation to come in. So is that your fault? I don't know. I feel like that's... I don't know. If you just say yes, if somebody knocks and you just say yes, like... I don't know. Is that an invitation to, like, oh, just come in? I guess it is. I guess it is, basically. Like, you probably should have said, oh, don't come in, my friend, we're changing. Something like that. But obviously you didn't know. I mean, she could have said something. She didn't say anything. Kind of awkward. Like, why didn't she say something? Like, no, don't come in. Not the asshole, really. I mean... It just depends. There's a lot of little details here that could be fleshed out more that would make me change my mind, depending on, like, how long, like, she like, what is the exact situation? She goes up to the bunk bed, and you're expecting that she's putting clothes on, and, like, how much time specifically is passing? But I could also just give you credit, like, just say that you didn't think about it. You just said yes. Like, you weren't really thinking about it at all. Like, I don't know. It doesn't seem like it's really your fault. It's kind of just a fluke. I mean, she seems to think you did it on purpose, which is why she's pissed off. But I don't know. All you can really do is just say sorry. I didn't intend for that to be what happened, but that's just what happened. And I don't know what to do about it. But you definitely shouldn't do this sort of thing. Is like say, well, I would forgive you. It's like, okay, well, people are different, and also you weren't the one that this happened to. So, sure, you can say that. It doesn't necessarily mean that's how you would actually feel. I don't know. Sticky situation. Edit. I'm sorry if it sounds like I'm saying she can't be upset, because of course she can be, and I would be upset too about a boy seeing me naked. I'm just saying I wouldn't be this mean to her about it or try to get the whole class to be against. This is irrelevant. Your feelings, this is projection is what this is called, okay? Projection, shouldn't do it. Should never do it. You shouldn't say, well, this is how I would feel, so this is how you should feel. Because, first of all, I mean, you can't really know that for sure, if that you would feel the exact same way. You might think in your mind that you're a perfect human being and that you wouldn't get upset over something that was clearly an accident. But that doesn't mean that given the circumstance or given a different circumstance or a similar circumstance, that you wouldn't actually be at least a little bit pissed off about it. She has a right to be kind of upset about it, but should she hold on to it? I don't know. Probably not. It's probably something she should be able to eventually forgive you for, but she doesn't have to if she doesn't want to. I mean, it is what it is. I don't know. Another edit. I never said to my friend that she can't be upset about what happened. You already said that, right? And I didn't immediately react trying to defend myself. I just apologized. Only in the post I defended myself like that because she's also being unfair. Yeah, I understand why. Yeah, okay. And saying that it was an accident doesn't mean I'm saying... Yeah, I feel like you're saying too much also. Like, you are kind of... Yeah, you're trying to defend yourself in the Reddit post, which is really weird, because I feel like all you really had to say was, like, I wasn't really thinking about it. I just said yes, and they came in and saw her naked. You know? A lot of this other stuff doesn't really, like... If that's just the situation, then, like, that's the situation. You don't have to, like... make it sound like you had all of these thoughts running through your head, like, oh my gosh... If, like, before, like, the person knocks on the door and you say, and you start thinking, well, she's had enough time to get dressed. You probably didn't, let's just say you probably didn't think about it, but I don't know, maybe you did. Maybe you did. I don't know. And saying that it wasn't an accident doesn't mean I'm saying it wasn't a mistake, but there's a difference between making a mistake on purpose and by accident, sure. Both made a mistake, so I don't think it should cause this much problems. Did she make a mistake? I don't know. That's tricky territory. You both made a mistake. What mistake? Should you have this thought in your mind that she also made a mistake? That you're equally culpable in this situation. That you both made mistakes. No, I think in this situation you made the mistake. She didn't make any mistakes that I know of so far that I'm seeing. I'm sure Reddit's kind of going to agree with me on this. It's pretty straightforward. Not the asshole, if that was the general standard of the room. Going full no assholes here because I'm sure she's a little embarrassed by the situation. I totally get her being upset by the situation as a whole. Hope she gets over the embarrassment. This is an issue in your friendship long term. Am I the asshole for making eggs at 3 a.m.? Before we start on this one, I have a personal story about this. I had a roommate in college, my last year of college, who lived in, like, student housing, but I don't think he was a student. Like, he seemed a bit older, and he had, like, I've never seen him actually go to classes. He kind of just, I don't know what he did. I think he just messed around all day. Actually, the problem was he slept for a good portion of the day. He was, like, a night owl. Like, he would do stuff at night. He was a problem because he would, like, he would get wasted at night. I remember he would drink Four Locos. He would go out, and then he would get, he would be brought home by the cops. Like, he got brought home by the cops several times for just being, like, drunk, and they found him somewhere, and they brought him home, and then the cops came in, like, in the middle of the night, you know, bringing him in, and that's bad in and of itself. But, like, the one thing, there were two things that pissed me off more than anything else, because I was a student going to college, This guy is clearly saying male 25, so okay. I'm not going to assume he's in college, so this is a different situation. But I want to finish the story, okay? He did two things. One was he would leave his, like, because he wandered around, like, he had to walk down the hall past my room constantly if he wanted to exit at night. And because I tried to go to sleep at a reasonable hour, I would just hear this guy going up and down the hall. He was an asshole, okay? He left his door open, and he would watch DVDs, watch movies. But then the thing is, the movie would end, and then it would just get stuck on the, like, DVD menu, and he would pass out. And so I would constantly hear the repeat of the DVD menu going over and over again from his room because his door was wide open, and it pissed me the fuck off because I was like, I'm a very light sleeper. I can't sleep with noise. I can't do it. I had another roommate who couldn't fall asleep without music, and I fucking hated that guy too. He was like, oh, I'm going to play my music or I can't fall asleep. And then I had to go turn his music off every single night. It's just, it's rough, you know, when you're trying to sleep at a reasonable hour and you have class in the morning and you got a roommate who just needs to make noise, you know. But the reason I brought this up was because one of the other things he did that pissed me off was he would always go and try to cook in, like, the middle of the night. And he would, like, bang pots around, and he would, like, heat stuff up, and it was just so loud. Because the kitchen was, like, right there. I would hear every single thing you know, I had so many conversations with him, and he started to try to be quiet. Like, he kept doing it, but he would try to be quiet about it. And I just, like, I hated him. I hated this guy. I don't know. But that's my opinion. Okay? So let's read the story and see how I feel about this. I, male 25, had to pull an all-nighter for an assignment, and I got hungry, so I fried some eggs at 3 a.m. My roommate, Jane, female 22, is a light sleeper. Okay, I'm relating to the story. So I did not make any loud noises, but she woke up to the sizzling noise of the frying pan. Jane got angry at me and demanded I take the eggs off the pan because of the sizzling. Oh, this is a very short story. Because of the sizzling noise. But I wonder if I'm inconsiderate or Jane just needs to get earplugs / a noise machine. Okay, so here's the problem, okay? Here's the problem I see with this. Does this happen a lot? Because, like, when I was living with my roommate, if it just happened once, I wouldn't care. I'd let it go. I'm like, okay, it's fine. You know, he decided to, like, he was hungry in the middle of the night. He decided to cook some food. I don't really care. I don't mind that much. That's one thing, okay? Does it happen a lot? That's one. The other thing is, does she have a reasonable reason why she's mad about it, other than the fact that you just woke her up? Like, does she have to, I assume she has to get up for work in the morning, maybe early on. That's a decent enough reason for her to be mad about it, if it woke her up. If she has to get up in the morning and you literally woke her up by frying eggs, like, that would piss off literally anybody. Like I said, I would let it go, but you're probably still in the wrong for that. Reasonably, you shouldn't do that. That's inconsiderate. So those are the two things. Okay? Also, I mean, like, if you're, like, really hungry in the middle of the night, do you have to cook? Like, couldn't you just go run to, like, the gas station? Gas stations are open 24/7. You can go get some beef jerky. You can go get some Snickers. You know, there's other options for food that aren't loud and, you know. So, that's what I will say. So, am I the asshole for frying eggs? I mean, you are inconsiderate. Am I inconsiderate? Yes. And saying she needs to get earplugs or a noise machine is, like, ridiculous. Okay, that's insane. I want to be able to make as much noise at night as I can, and you are inconsiderate for not just wearing earplugs when I'm making all this noise. Or is Jane just too much of a light sleeper, man? What do you mean? Some people are light sleep. I don't know how people can be heavy sleepers. I've known a lot of people who are heavy sleepers and they sleep through freaking anything, man. They're insane. They're crazy. And my experience with living with those people is that they think everybody else is just like them and that they can make as much noise as they want. And, like, it should be fine. It's really irritating, and they can't understand. I had another roommate who every morning he would get up early And he would open the blinds. And the blinds shone the sun, like, right on my bed. Because we were in this, obviously in the same room. His bed faced away from the window, and mine faced towards the window. And I told him, God, I told him so many times, can you just not open the blinds in the morning? Like, why do you have to do that? Like, I'm sleeping in because my classes are later. I felt less justified about it, but it still made me mad. He also opened the hallway door so that everybody else, because we lived with 2 other roommates, whenever everybody else would get up, I would hear them. Or if he had a conversation with somebody, I would hear it, because it would just be funneled down the hallway. It was like, ugh. There was nothing I hated more than just other people, you know, disrupting my sleep. Ugh. And making sizzling noise at night an acceptable roommate behavior. No, it's not. I mean, it's not really, no. Shouldn't do that, probably. What does Reddit think? All right, first thing is not the asshole. Of course you should be allowed to make yourself a meal in the middle of the night, assuming what you claim you did, you're not being overly noisy. Seriously? Like, actually? Do you really think this? Surely not, right? No, you should not be allowed to make yourself a meal in the middle of the night if you have a roommate and they, like, have to do shit in the morning. You have to be considerate of your roommates, okay? What are you talking about? You should be able to make yourself a meal in the middle of the night. Overly noisy, she was woken up by the sizzling sounds. That's noisy enough, is it not? What do you mean overly noisy? If Jane is that light of a sleeper, she should take precautions for it. I've used earplugs. Wow, I can't agree with this. Okay, this makes me mad. That's such a bad take. That's like the worst take. And look how upvote. This is the #1 response? She should take precautions for it? No. Dude shouldn't be cooking in the middle of the night. What do you mean? That's not like reasonable background noise. If it were like, you know, cars going past, you know, like that's reasonable background noise. And if that bothers you, yeah, you should wear earplugs. But if you like can sleep with general background noise, but you can't sleep when there's noise that's like not supposed to be there, generally, that's normal. That's a normal situation. And you should be allowed to be like, hey, can you just not do that? And your roommate should listen to you. Oh my God. This is going to make me mad. Whatever. Jane can frig off. There are so many circumstances that will also involve her having to cook at 3 a.m. You pay rent, dude. It's a shared living space. There will be noise. Are there? I mean, again, this is just, you're assuming something here. If it is something that happens interchangeably, that's a different story. Like if sometimes she cooks at 3 a.m. and sometimes you cook at 3 a.m., sure. Like then she's being unreasonable if she complains about it. But I'm going to tell you right now, unless I worked a literal night shift, okay? A literal night shift, which I've never done, but if I did, and some people do, and like that's a conversation you have to have with a roommate if you're living with somebody. It's like, hey, I work a night shift, so like I'm going to be awake at night, and if they're not okay with that, well, that's too bad, right? Because then, oh well, that's what I have to do. I work a night shift. Oh well, get over it. And if they're not okay with it, you know, move out. That's just how it's going to be. Like, I get that. Okay, I understand that. I feel for you there. But, like, I've never been in, like, I don't think I've ever been in a situation where, like, I've had to cook at 3 a.m. Like, I have no choice. I have to cook at 3 a.m. And if I did, and my roommate came out and they said, hey, can you not cook right now? Like, I'm trying to sleep and you just woke me up with the sound of cooking. I'd be like, oh, my bad, sorry. And I would probably not do that. I would be apologetic because I woke them up. I was the one doing the weird thing. They were sleeping. That's the normal thing. Not usually at 3 a.m., though, to be fair to... Well, thank you for being fair to Jane. Thank you. Thanks to somebody. It's nice that somebody's being fair to Jane. That's so nice of you. Jesus. Lots of folks... See, this is what I just said. Lots of folks work shift work and need to be up and out of the door early. Yeah, but that's not the situation here, is it? No. So so why even bring it into the conversation? It's not the situation. All right, get out of here. Go away. Leave the conversation. You're the asshole. 3 a.m. is not an appropriate time for making a meal when sharing an apartment with someone. Get a snack and leave the eggs until at least 6 a.m. Good take. Good take. Great take. Thank you. True. And this one got 300 upvotes, and the other one got 2K upvotes. Wait, it collapsed a whole bunch. Hold on. Oh, okay. So the first combat, yeah, it pushed me down a little bit further than I wanted. The next comment after that is, I'm surprised by the comments. Of course, it's an asshole move to cook eggs in a shared apartment at 3 a.m. You're the asshole. Agreed. How does this guy get top? Like, how is this the top comment? This is such a bad take. I don't know. Is it like 12-year-olds who are like, I love cooking ramen at 3 a.m. when my parents are asleep. I do it all the time. It's like, no, that's not normal. Also, I'm sure your parents get mad at you. If they got woke up, they would probably be upset with you. True. As usual, people are more focused on whether it's allowed to than if it's an inconsiderate move. Also, the hypothetical scenario of people working night shift, which OP doesn't, LOL, is that hard to have a bit of courtesy for each other instead of always me, and yes, it does go both ways. Wait, I actually don't know what this guy's saying. If it's allowed to, then if it's an inconsiderate move. I get what you're saying. Also, the hypothetical scenario of people working night shift, which OP doesn't. Yes. True. They're bringing this random nonsense into it. I don't get people sometimes. I feel like people's brains are really stupid sometimes when they just, like, project random information into it. Like, you read a story like this, and you're like, oh, well, they're probably, they work night shift, even though they literally said that they didn't. But what if they did, though? That would change the situation, but that's not what we're talking about. So why are you bringing it up? I don't get it. I don't understand. I don't understand how people's brains work. Like, you can't forgive it based on a hypothetical situation that is different from the actual situation. You were awake, you got hungry, you pay to live where you are. If cooking at 3 a.m. is part of your living, what's the problem? You're not screaming or playing loud music. Still trying to... How is this different? Screaming or playing loud music? So, like, being, like, intentionally obnoxiously loud would be bad, but being unintentionally loud is fine. Like, it's about the intention of it? Is it? What if you worked nights? Well, they don't. That's the problem. Again, you're the asshole. 3 a.m. is not an appropriate time for making a meal when sharing an apartment with someone. Get a snack and leave the eggs until at least 6 a.m. Thank you. No. I used to get home at 4 a.m. and that was my dinner time. I wouldn't have forced myself to silently snack for a roommate. God, I hate these people, man. I hate them so much. That's just because you get home at 4, like, that is your specific situation. That is not their situation. The roommate, if like, that is, I've already said it. If that's the expectation is, like, I'm going to get home at 4 a.m. every single night, so, like, if that bothers you, like, that's a conversation that you have with your roommate, and if they're not okay with it, well, too bad, because that's your specific situation that you have to deal with. So, like, resolve it some way. They move out, you move out, something gets resolved there, but that's not what we're talking about. Anyways, I gotta move on from this. This one might be interesting or really boring. Am I the asshole for asking my boyfriend not to wipe his face on our kitchen towels? My 27 female boyfriend Jay, 30 male, has a medium-length beard, and while I like how it looks, I'm often bothered by the way that it holds on to smells after meals. We've discussed this a few times, and he's agreed to try to wash it more thoroughly more often, but today that plan backfired in a new way. Jay made himself some cheesy eggs with hot sauce for breakfast, and as usual got the sauce all over his beard around the mouth. He wiped it away visibly with a napkin, but knows that I won't kiss him until he's at least rinsed it because the sauce smell lingers very strongly. I was feeding the dogs when I noticed him walk into the kitchen, rinse his face in the sink, no soap, and then grab one of the towels we use to dry dishes and dry his face and beard on it. Immediately went, Jay, did you just wipe your face on our clean kitchen cloths? He looked at me like I was insane. I said, that's gross. He replied, if anything, it's gross to my face because we use it to wipe dishes. I tried to explain to him that I would rather he not do that anymore because to me, things that come in contact with food, things you eat off of, should be as far removed from contact with faces as possible. But he insisted that his face was clean even after I pointed out that he hasn't even used soap and he hasn't showered today, so his face has plenty of oils and germs on it. Get annoyed that I even brought it up, so now I need to know, am I the asshole? My thoughts about this are that I don't know if I really care about this, but reasonably speaking, I don't think I would personally do this, because I have kitchen towels and I have bathroom towels, and if I needed to wipe my face, I would use a bathroom towel. Like, that does make sense to me. But I'm like, yeah, if you rinse your face off and then wipe it on a dish towel, I mean, I kind of almost would feel the same way that he does about it being, like, more gross that I'm using a dish towel, so I don't think I would do that, because I'm like, oh, that's got, like, grimy, bits of food on it, and I'm using that to wipe my face. I don't know. I don't think it's the biggest deal in the world, but, like, yeah, I mean, if you have I can understand seeing that as being gross. And reasonably, if you do that, you should probably just throw the dish rag immediately in the laundry. I don't think this is an unreasonable request to be like, hey, if you're going to wipe your face, like, don't use the dish towels. Like, use it like a bathroom towel. But also, I don't know, you don't have kids, it's just you two living there. I don't know, it's a couple's dispute. You should probably not do it. If your girlfriend's like, that's gross, like, just don't do it. I don't know. I'm like, I can't really, like, I can defend it a little bit and be like, I don't think it's that big a deal. But at the end of the day, like, I could see the argument for it being gross. So, what does Reddit think? The bar is truly in hell. Someone who routinely gets food in their beard and had to be told it smells has a GF. The kitchen is for washing... Sorry, what? Someone who... Were they, like, soft roasting this guy? They're like, he's... What an idiot. He has a GF? He's gross. The kitchen is for washing vegetables and meat. Not body parts other than the hands. I just can't. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like that's an overreaction. I don't think it really matters that much. Yeah, and that's the other thing, is, like, I've definitely used my dish towels to wash my hands before. Is it that different than wash your face with it? Or to, like, dry your face with it? I've definitely used them for hands. If the person I'm living with has a problem with it, I probably wouldn't. But 30 is too old to make excuses for not understanding basic hygiene. Is it really, like, that unhygienic? That's what I don't understand. Like, is it? Like, I would get it if he was, like, licking the dish towel or something. Like, that would be really gross. But, like, wiping his face with it? I mean, you would get, like, oils, like, face oils and shit on it, but, like, wouldn't you get that with hands as well? I don't know. I'm trying to justify it, but I need the science. I need somebody to do the science here. I don't know. Anyways, let's move on. Am I the asshole for voluntelling my brother-in-law to do the Thanksgiving turkey? Last year, my mom's family decided that they would be turning this Thanksgiving into a family reunion. She comes from a very large family, and so far 53 people have RSVP'd to come? You have 53 people in your family? What? The dinner itself will be hosted at my mom's house, which is great because one of her brothers lives next door. How do you even fit, like, how big does the house have to be that you can host 53 people? Holy shit. Which is great because one of her brothers lives next door, so there will be 2 kitchens to work with. She asked if I would plan the menu, and I agreed. Planning the menu took a lot of work. There's limited space to cook even with 2 kitchens. There has to be enough food for 53 plus people, and there's a lot of food restrictions. My mom's family is Jewish, and everything keeps varying levels of kosher, from only during Passover to never mixing meat and dairy. Half the people coming are also vegetarian/vegan, some due to allergies. 3 people have celiacs, and a few keep keto. Not to mention the variance between picky kids and adults who are looking forward to try the creative dishes I'm known for. But I still did it, and last week I posted it in the group. You still did what? So you planned the menu. That's what you did. You planned the menu. Okay. Everyone was pretty nice about it and seemed excited. A few changes were made, like adding a pre-made frozen keto cheesecake and adding dino nuggets for a particularly picky kid. The one person who wasn't my brother-in-law. Oh. Wait, what? Adding dino... The one person who wasn't... Oh, the one person who wasn't pretty nice about it and seemed excited. Okay, that was 2 sentences ago. The only meats that will be there are a ham my uncle volunteered to cook before I was even planning and some grilled fish. He commented Thanksgiving with no turkey, And a few people responded with laughing emojis. Then he texted me about it. I told him there was limited space to cook and everyone else seemed happy, so we could get him some Oscar Mayer or he could cook one himself in the smoker. The only space left. He said he wasn't driving 2 hours to have to cook. I said no turkey then. Then my sister texted me. She told me how upset he was. I told her what I told him. She didn't agree with me, saying I should smoke it myself. I said that no, there was a large menu to be cooking without additions. She still didn't agree, but left me alone. Her husband did not. I've received text every day since. Yesterday I had it. I was not going to be getting these texts for 2 more months, so I added a new post. Congrats, turkey lovers. A new menu item has been added. Brother-in-law has volunteered to make a turkey. An hour later, my sister called me to tell me how pissed brother-in-law was. I asked her if she knew how much he had been texting me. She did not. She still said I should have asked her to make him knock it off instead. She still said I should have asked her to make him knock it off instead? Sorry, I've been so confused. I was thinking this whole time she was talking about the uncle. Because this person sucks at writing anything. Because she says the only meats that will be there are ham my uncle volunteered to cook before I was even planning some grilled fish. He commented, Thanksgiving with no turkey, and a few people responded with laughing emojis. I thought she was talking about the uncle there. She's talking about the brother-in-law. The brother-in-law commented that. Okay. Oh my god. Some people need to take, like, creative writing classes. Some people need to hire an editor. Like, please. You changed the subject of the sentence here. My uncle is the new subject. And then you said he after that. The only thing I would think is you're still talking about the uncle. No. Okay, so the brother-in-law is the one that's complaining about the fact that there's no turkey. And then he made a bunch of posts about being mad that there was going to be no turkey. Yesterday I had it. I was not going to be getting these texts, so I added a new contract. A new menu has been added. Has volunteered to make a turkey. An hour later, my sister called me to tell me how pissed brother-in-law was. I asked her if she knew how much he had been texting me. She did not. She still said I should have asked her to make him knock it off instead. Did you not? I mean, it sounds like you kind of did. I should smoke it myself. I guess from her situation is like she texted and she's like, hey, he wants a turkey. And she's like, well, you know, no turkey. We blah, blah, blah. What did she say? He could cook one himself. And then he said he wasn't going to do it. She didn't agree with me saying I should smoke it myself. I mean, that's kind of ridiculous for her to say that. I said, no, there was a large menu to be cooking without addition. She still didn't agree, but left me alone. Okay. I mean, I don't know. If she's saying this is a weird thing for her to say. Like, she didn't agree, but she's like, well, if you told me to tell him to stop bothering you, like, I would have told him to stop bothering you about it. Like, that kind of goes against the portrayal of the sister that I'm getting here from the previous paragraph, but brother-in-law asked me to take down the post and say I lied. I refused. They got my mom involved, who said I should have been more mature. I mean, there was definitely like there were definitely different options in dealing with this situation. You could have just told him to fuck off. And that there wasn't going to be a turkey. You could have texted the sister. I mean, I don't know. It depends on if you really did everything to, like, get them to shut up. But if, like, they kept bothering you and you were just like, I'm not going to do it. And they kept, well, I guess if you said you weren't going to do it and they still bothered you after that, then yeah, they were in the wrong, but got my mom involved, who said I should have been more mature. He had really pissed me off by continually messaging me, and I don't think he understood the level of thought into making the menu, but maybe I shouldn't have done what I did, so am I the asshole? Like I said, there's definitely another way to go around this, and, like, I mean, you had to know when you volunteered him to do this, he already, like, you did know that he wasn't gonna do it. So, like, yeah, you did just kind of, like, throw him under the bus there. I can kind of understand being frustrated about it. I would have at least tried to, like, say, hey, stop bothering me about this. I'm not going to do it. Or tell the sister. I don't know. As long as you did that, then, and if they continued after that, I would have been, yeah. I would have been pissed off. Yeah, I mean, this is kind of a little bit of a nuclear way to go about it, but... and of course, they're going to be mad at you for it. But is it deserved? Maybe. I don't know. I'll kind of give you that one, I think. I don't think it, like, you did anything like that horrendous, realistically. I don't think it was that big a deal. Not the asshole. Is he always so petulant and entitled? They could easily prepare a turkey at home and it would survive the 2-hour trip. That's true. They could, like, if he's really going to complain about it, like, he probably should just make the turkey himself. Like, it's not that big a deal. And they're probably not doing anything else. Also, they don't have to make it at home and bring it. They could just cook it, like, arrive early and cook it at the place. But, I don't know, maybe the kitchen space is already being used, so... Any case, him pestering you about it and showing no appreciation for all the bobbing and weaving. That's true. Yeah, I'm generally just kind of on your side about it. He was kind of being an asshole. This one sounds spicy. Will I be the asshole for refusing to allow my daughter a friend because of my grudge? Trigger words? I've never seen this before. I think trigger words. Bullying and depression. Past context. I was very heavily bullied as a teen. I had no friends through school and was a target to many. I am currently 30 and still struggle with feelings of worthlessness stemming from this. While there were many bullies, one in particular was relentless. Rachel. Rachel was from another school, was 2 grades above me, and had never met me before when I received my first message from her online. The message was vile. She said that I was repulsive, fat, ugly, etc. But I was used to receiving messages like this, and didn't respond. I then began to receive daily messages from this girl, telling me that the world would be better without me, detailed steps about what she thought I should do, etc. I blocked her, but she just made new accounts, and continued these messages, urging me to do dangerous things, every single day for over a year. While bullying as a whole had lasting impacts on me, her messages were some of the worst and most persistent I ever received, and I still can't... Hold on. I still can't bring myself to delete them? Hang on. Hang on a second here. What do you mean? You're 30? And you were bullied as a teenager? Bro, delete the messages. What are you doing? What? Holy crap, that's insane. I can't even believe that. Have you ever talked to a therapist about this? Like, surely if you told a therapist, yeah, I still keep those messages in my archives on my flash drive, on my phone. I still save them. I have them all saved, and I look at them from day to day. No. Your therapist would definitely be like, hey, actually delete those, like, right now. Why are you holding on to those? I'm sorry. I get trauma is bad, and it's, you know, people have to deal with trauma sometimes, and that sucks, and that's hard. People deal with trauma in their own way, I guess. But this is definitely not the healthy way to do it, for what it's worth. Also, I have to understand 2 things about this. So, she called you repulsive, fat, and ugly, and you were used to receiving messages like this and didn't respond, and then you blocked her after she told you that the world would be better without you, and then she wanted you to do something terrible to yourself. You blocked her. But she just made new accounts? What are we talking about? New accounts on what? You're 30, okay? Listen, I'm 31. New accounts? On what? What are we talking about? I'm like, listen, okay? When I was a kid, when I was a teenager, okay? MySpace was a thing when I was in middle school. I didn't have, like, a cell phone until I was in high school, okay? And that's not, like, having a cell phone isn't something you make an account for. It's just you have a phone, and your phone has a number and a SIM card associated with it. You can't make a new account to, like, send somebody a text message. So, in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, so this has to be some other messaging app. There's, like, AIM, but nobody uses that, like, anymore. I guess maybe that's what she's talking about. But, like, gosh, I don't remember AIM enough to, like... That was a thing in, like, the early 2000s, okay? So, you're 30, that wouldn't have been... I don't think people were using AIM, AOL Instant Messenger, when I was in high school. I don't recall that being a thing. Everybody had cell phones at that time, so nobody would have been using that in high school. Maybe in elementary, middle school. Maybe people were using that back then, but... I didn't really use it that much, to be fair. I remember using it at the library, and I would just talk to randos. Didn't have anybody's specific account information. The only thing I'm thinking about is Facebook, but I remember specifically Facebook wasn't a thing until I was 16. So she would have been 15. It could have been on Facebook, but like I remember how Facebook worked, and Facebook worked. You had to like accept somebody as a friend. On Facebook in order for them to be able to... Well, maybe they could message you still. I don't know. I don't remember. It's been a long time. Maybe they could still message you through Facebook. I'm just trying to understand this because I'm like, this makes sense like now. If you're talking about like, oh, well, I'm talking about like Discord, you know, and somebody's like messaging you on Discord. But even on Discord, they have to add you as a friend. Unless you're in the same server. No, that doesn't make any sense. I don't know what we're talking about here. I'm just so confused by that. In my mind, I'm thinking, like, if you block her, like, how is she gonna contact you? Like, how? How would she do that? I don't know. I'll just assume that she's not, like, lying to me, but I'm trying to understand this. Every single day. I guess I shouldn't judge this too much. I'm trying to judge, like, her, like, what she did. But, like, obviously she did the wrong thing, and I think she's, like, accepting of that fact. That's not what we're supposed to be judging. But the other thing I want to look at every single day for over a year, and you didn't tell anybody? I can't really, like, specifically blame you for that, but you should have probably told somebody about it. Like, told your teacher, told, like, a parent. I don't know, but I understand, you know. You probably, like, don't want to do that. I get it. We're teenagers. When we were teenagers, you know, that was uncomfortable to confront certain things like that, and you don't want to bring your parents into it. I get it. Now, this morning while taking my kids to school, my daughter, 5, asked me to walk with her to her classroom. While we were walking to the door, she noticed a friend and ran to say hello and introduce me. I noticed instantly the mother with this child was Rachel. I genuinely felt like I was going to throw up, cause a scene, or cry, so I continued quickly with a drop-off and left. Okay, that does make this interesting. I've never seen this girl in person before today. Oh, okay. I thought you were going to say Rachel, like you never saw Rachel in person. Okay, but no. She's talking about the 5-year-old. Or the other kid. They didn't say the age, but I've not heard from her in years. See, okay. But this is a confusing question because now you're saying, I've never seen this girl in person before today, have not heard from her in years, and this is a different subject, but you're using it in the same sentence where you've introduced the subject as this girl. I wish people would learn how to write. I'm sorry. You did childhood trauma. I get it. I'm sorry. Shouldn't make fun of somebody with childhood trauma, I guess. But it brought me back immediately to the year-long torment I experienced from her. Oh, also, it was a year. It was just a year? Every day for a year. For over a year. Oh, man. And you're... I don't know how to judge this, man. I'm like... The extent of, like, trauma, like, if this was a normal person, I would be like, how are you holding on to this for over, like, something that happened to you over probably, like, half your life ago, right? Half your life ago, somebody bullied you relentlessly for a year, and not only have you held on to this, and it's tormented you for your entire life, because it sounds like you did bad things to yourself. That's what you said, right? When bullying as a whole had lasting impacts on me, her messages were some of the worst and most persistent. I don't really actually know what that means. Well, bullying as a whole had lasting effects on me. Her messages were some of the worst and most persistent. For some reason in my head, I thought she'd said something about, like, hurting herself over these messages. But I think that all she says is, well, bullying as a whole had lasting impacts on me. I don't know what that means. I mean, this is so so much. My first concern, as trivial as it may sound, is that my daughter's birthday party is coming up and we always invite everyone, so I don't like to make any child feel excluded. My daughter has also mentioned this girl specifically to me as one of her best friends in the class, though this is only their second week knowing each other. We're handing out invitations on Monday of next week, and I'm completely torn on what to do about this girl. On one hand, she is innocent and is my daughter's friend. I would never want to cost my child a friendship or make her feel singled out from her classmates because of my own drama. On the other hand, after a little digging, Rachel is not only still a terrible person online, but is also a single mom, meaning that if she accepted the invite, she would be bringing her daughter to the party. After a little digging, Rachel is not only still a terrible person online. What does this mean? What do you mean she's still a terrible person online? What do you mean? You looked up her Facebook? This has got to be something to do with Facebook, man. You gotta be talking about Facebook, and I don't know what you mean. Is she like she's like shits on people? She wouldn't have any friends if she was still like a horrible, like, who would hang out with a person that was like really mean to just everybody? I also don't know if I could handle the entire situation maturely and absolutely don't want to end up in a screaming match or worse at my child's party. I can't stop going back and forth in my mind and don't think my thought process is sound right now. I don't want to put my daughter into an uncomfortable situation. Will I be the asshole if I didn't invite this child to my daughter's birthday party? I do wonder what Reddit's going to think of this. Because I don't know how, like, I don't know. I don't deal with people with trauma very much that are like, I don't know the extent of it. I don't know how severe it is. I don't know exactly what the situation was that makes her this, like, I don't know. I don't know how to, like, dissect this exactly. I guess it's because the information about this is like making me put her on, want to handle her with kid gloves a little bit, you know? But reasonably speaking, like, if I weren't doing that, okay? If I weren't trying to do that, which I guess I shouldn't. Let me not do that. No, obviously you're completely insane. No, you're out of your mind. First of all, you're holding on to these messages that you only received for over a year when you were like, you didn't even say exactly what age you were. So I'm gonna assume you were like 15 or 16, right? I'm gonna assume you were like around that age, maybe younger. I don't know. If it was younger, this is half your lifetime ago, over half your lifetime ago, and you're holding on to those messages. That's crazy. Okay. The other thing, first of all, I mean, if your daughter is friends with this girl, that's great. That's wonderful. They can be friends. That girl is not her mother, okay? She's not her mother. If you don't want the mother at the party, that's an entirely different thing. But I don't know. I think the only solution to that is that you would just have to have a conversation with the mother. Like, you would have to talk to Rachel and, like, have a conversation about, like, hey, I'm, like, really uncomfortable because we have such, like, a traumatic history. I was really hurt by all of those things you did when I was a teenager. So, like, you know, either we sort this out and we talk and we have a conversation and we get over, and I get over this, and I am convinced that you are a different person than you were when we were children, because otherwise I don't want you at my house. Like, that's what should happen. That's the mature thing to do. Can you do that? I don't know. I don't know. Like, I'm thinking if you were like if it was like let's put a different context in this, right? Like, if it were like a woman who was like abused by her boyfriend, right? And then her boyfriend like has a kid, she was abused by her boyfriend who was like 16, and then he has a kid, and then that kid ends up going to the same school as your kid, and then they become friends, and then it's like, oh, here's the party. And the boyfriend has to drop off his kid to the party. Like, that's one of those things where it's like, do you have to have a conversation with that guy about it? I would be a little bit more sympathetic towards the situation, right? I would be like, man, maybe you don't have to ever talk to that guy again. In this specific situation, though, you might still have to talk to him. You might still have to have a conversation with him, I think, in that context. But it's like, that's a really uncomfortable situation to be in. But I don't know. I'm just saying that just to kind of put it in a different context. I'm like, if this is like a similar context where this woman was like abusive on the level of like that. Like, yeah, it's a more difficult conversation to have if you're going to try to talk to her. But I think you just have to do that. I think you just have to. And what I'll say is if you have the conversation and like she doesn't, like you still don't like her, like you have every right to tell her like your kid can come. You just drop her off. Your kid can come. I'm okay with that. You just drop her off. I don't want you at my house. Like you're allowed to say that, I think. And then it's going to be, what I would think would happen is she probably would be like, oh, well, you suck. I'm not going to have my kid at your house. I'm not going to leave my kid at your house. And then, you know, it still kind of falls on you that was kind of your fault. I mean, that the perception of it from outside of it is going to be that people are going to be more mad at you about that situation. But I think you're like, if you explain that situation, then like, I think you would come across as in the right. As long as you try everything you can, you know, with this person. But I don't know. I am confused about you saying she's still a terrible person online because I don't know what that means. Okay, I don't know what this means. I'm almost getting the impression that this was written by like a person like now, like experiencing the internet as it is now. That like, oh yeah, you can be like it in something and have somebody make multiple accounts to like bully you online. But I just, at you being 30, I'm just like, that's not how things really were when I was a kid. I don't really see what you're talking about. And then to say somebody's still a terrible person online, I don't know what that means. I guess it depends on where you're at online. But the only thing I can think of is like Facebook. It's like she's a horrible person on Facebook, but that could mean anything. You know, you don't have to be her. You wouldn't even know she was still a terrible person. I mean, it says you digged. You digged to see what she was doing online, but I think that's just looking up her Facebook page. But I would assume whatever she's posting online has literally nothing to do with you. So I don't know how you would judge it as terrible. Maybe she just shit talks people, but maybe she shit talks people that deserve it. You know, doesn't mean she's a terrible person. So I know a lot of people that shit talk people, and they're actually pretty cool people. They just have a lot of friends that are really horrible people. So it's kind of, you know, it makes sense that they would shit talk people a lot. I guess that's my take on it. What do we think? What do we think, Reddit? This is a tough situation. Oh, hey, I kind of agree with you. I'm sorry you were bullied so mercilessly. I do not think you should have a party for your daughter and invite the entire class except for the 5-year-old girl who did nothing wrong. And I do not think you should have this woman in your house. Please consider having a different kind of party for your daughter with a few of her close friends or just family. Please get some help for the complex PTSD or suffering because of this experience. Having been there, I can attest to the fact that there are excellent treatments available. Next year, you might feel victorious having this woman in your home and having it not cause you such pain. This is a very well-informed and mature response. I do agree. Yes. Okay. That's fair. You know, in my mind, I'm like, I don't know how to deal with the trauma side of this. You know, I don't know. It's like if you are fully unable to just have a conversation with this woman, even though it's over a decade and a half later, that's a real problem. I don't know how to deal with that, but you know, if it were a normal situation, I would probably try to have a conversation with her, just see if she's still, you know, if you can work it out. But that's it. That's the only difference I'm seeing in this. I don't know if I need to read it. I don't want to read anybody else's thing. I thought that was a good response. Good enough response. Well, this seems funny because this guy was voted an asshole. Am I the asshole for not going to my friend's wedding after what she said to me? People voted them an asshole. Him or her, I don't know. A few months ago, a friend of mine told me she was getting married. It wasn't meant to be a regular wedding, but more of an elopement kind of thing. We were supposed to be her, the groom, me as a maid of honor, and a best man. Her, the groom, me as maid of honor, and a best man, plus a few close family members, about 10 people in total, and it was planned for early November. I say wedding like that in the title because there will be no invites, no save the date, no ceremony, no walk down the aisle, just courthouse and dinner. Yep, that's what you already said. That's what elopement is. Explaining it in case people don't understand what elopement is. It's literally you just... Elopement, okay, for those who don't know, you go to the courthouse, you sign a document that says you're married, and that's it. That's the whole thing. That's what eloping is. It's like, I don't want to have a wedding. I don't want to have a big wedding. You'll elope. You just go to the courthouse and you sign a document. That's all it means. And dinner, that comes from the bride herself. I'm not guessing anything. A week ago, I got the news that I had gotten a permanent job. I don't know how to explain it because this is a very typical thing for my country, Spain, where every so often the government will hire professionals to work either in the administration or in public institutions, education, high school. This is usually a great opportunity because these positions are for life, well until you retire, and they can never fire you. That does sound like a good position. I hope they pay well. That's the only thing. In order to apply for these positions, you have to take an exam, and then depending on your years of service to the institution and the score you get on the exam, you can get one of these jobs. Long story short, I took my exam last year, and last week I got told that I got one of the jobs, but I will be moving cities for that. When I told my friend this, the only thing she said is, when you're leaving, can you still come to my wedding? No, congratulations, no, I'm happy for you, nothing. Oh, no congratulations, no, I'm happy for you, nothing. Oh, so you're upset that she didn't congratulate you for your job and didn't say I'm happy for you. I mean, can you blame her? Her first concern is probably, yeah, I mean, her first concern is she's getting married. I mean, I wouldn't even blame her if she thought when you texted her that was the reason you were texting her that. It's just to, like, be like, hey, I get married. Like, why else would you, but you were, yeah, I mean, why, yeah, I don't know. Are you texting all your friends or just her? You just texted her, so why wouldn't she just, like, why wouldn't that be your immediate response to be like, oh, you're telling me this because you can't come to my wedding. That's why you're telling me this, right? I don't know. Unless she's your best friend, I can understand you would want to tell her anyway. I guess you must be if you're the maid of honor. I don't know. Thinking too hard about that. I must add, 2 weeks ago, I talked to her to know where we were having dinner for her wedding, and she said she didn't have anything planned yet, let alone booked. I talked to her to know where we were having dinner for her wedding, and she said she didn't know anything planned yet. Okay, who cares? What is the point of this sentence? Had she told me she had everything booked, what are you talking about? And that she really needed my RSVP, I would have understood her answer, but in that context, I've decided that the only thing she cares about is her and her wedding. She can't be happy for me. Okay, you imploded in the last few paragraphs here, bro. What are you talking about? You're upset that she just didn't book everything? And that's the real reason, and she didn't say she was happy for you? The only thing she cares about is her wedding? I mean, I was gonna be more on her side, okay, initially, because I'm like, it is an elopement. I mean, the only problem is you're the maid of honor. But actually, what does that even mean in an elopement? You don't need a maid of honor, and you don't need a best man at an elopement. Like, literally, I wonder how much people understand what an elopement is. I've known people who have gotten eloped, and it's literally just, you can go with just you and your potential spouse. Is that the right word? Spouse is just marriage, right? I think so. So your potential spouse, you just go to the courthouse, you sign a document that says you're married. Like, you as a maid of honor, what are you even talking about? Like, what would you even, like, you wouldn't even have, like, much of a role in that situation. There's nothing to do. It's not a real wedding. But I guess it sounds like just courthouse and dinner. Yeah, you're going to dinner. So does that mean you're, like, expected to maybe make a speech at dinner? Like, I don't really know. I don't really know what the expectation is from you, because if there's no wedding, if there's no, like, actual wedding, there's nothing you have to do as maid of honor. So if she's saying she hasn't planned anything and she doesn't need you to, like, she's not, like, expecting you to, like, make a speech at dinner or something, like, that's the only thing I can think she would expect you to do. I don't know. And in that context, I would, like, understand if you're like, this is not that, like, I don't really need to be here for this, and, like, I have a job and I have to move cities, and so I can't come to the wedding. Like, I hope that's okay. But you're also being, like, really selfish in the last little bit when she's, like, just naturally questioning you, that, you know, because this is obviously a big deal for her. I feel like she's right to kind of, you know, question you about the wedding. First and foremost, is going to be the first thing in her mind. She has to say, I'm happy for you. I don't know. Does she have to say that? Does she have to say that? The only counter I have to this is like an elopement is not really a big thing. So there's not really a necessity for her to be there at the elopement unless there's something planned, like I said. So I don't think it's a big betrayal to be like, no, I don't think I can come. But you might be able to make that argument. You're still her best friend, and if she wants you there, I feel like that's fair. And it is kind of a betrayal to just be like, no, I'm not coming. At the same time, it's an elopement. Doesn't matter that much, but whatever. My prediction for this is that Reddit's not going to understand the difference between an elopement and a marriage. Although, well, it was my initial assessment, but now I'm like wondering if it really matters all that much. You're the asshole while your friend's reaction may have seemed dismissive. I think they're gonna make too much of a big deal about your friend's wedding, you missing your friend's wedding. While your friend's reaction may have seemed dismissive, it's possible she was caught up in the stress of wedding planning and didn't fully process your big news. I agree with that. I mean, no, I don't agree with that, actually. She's eloping. There's nothing to plan, okay? There's nothing really to plan at all. There's no wedding planning. There's no wedding to be planned, okay? That's stupid. But I do agree with the not fully processing her big news. I do agree with the sentiment that, like, it's the first thing on her mind is to be like, oh my gosh, wait, you're not going to be able to come to my wedding. That's just the first thought she has right off the top of the dome, and that's what she sends. I'm like, I'm okay with that. Is it right? Maybe not, but I understand. Weddings, even small ones, can be overwhelming, and she likely values your presence on such an important day. I don't think this is an overwhelming wedding at all. It sounds like courthouse and dinner is like it. And I don't know what dinner means. I like in my head, I'm like, they're all just going to the Texas, the Outback Steakhouse. they're getting steaks and then they're going home. Like that's my idea of this, and is like the courthouse, Outback Steakhouse, we all go home. And that's it. That's what I'm thinking. Instead of immediately deciding not to attend, you should have communicated how you felt about her response. Sure, friendship is a two-way street, and it's important to express your feelings rather than make assumptions. True. That's fair. Canceling your role as maid of honor because of one comment comes across as self-centered and could hurt your friendship. I agree. I agree with that. In the long run, talking out would have been a better approach. I agree with that. She did, she imploded in the last 2 paragraphs. Oh, look at this based response. What wedding planning and what stress? It is just 4 people having dinner after signing some papers. True. Based and true. It's 10 total, says right there in the post. That's true. But 10 people, it does say 10 family members. I don't know if it's 10 family members of the courthouse, though. I assume it's, like, why would they need to be all there at the courthouse together? I assume, I don't know, would they all go to the courthouse together? I guess they would. That's 14 people. Oh, no, 10 people total. So that's them. No, it's 10 people total, so that's the maid of honor, the best. Oh, okay, no, that's 4. Okay, yeah. 4 plus 6 more people. Yeah, it's true, though. It is also, there's nothing to plan. You're just going to dinner in the courthouse. Most people find embarking on a lifelong commitment pretty stressful. Okay, miserable dentist 70, but that's actually incredibly beside the fucking point, isn't it? That's not what anybody's talking about. They're saying that wedding planning is stressful, and you're like, and they're like, wait, there's no wedding planning, there's no stress, so why would you be worried about it? Well, most people, on a lifelong commitment, that's going to be stress. Like, what a fucking nothing statement. And this got more upvotes. This guy got fucking more upvotes than this guy. Yes, the asshole. Yes, it's rude that she didn't congratulate you for your job, but in your post, you're denigrating her wedding by putting it in quotes. It's clearly you were made to play an important role that day and must be close friends. So this is what I'm saying. This is my assumption going into this. People are not going to understand what elopement is. They're just not going to know. Being the maid of honor, to play an important role, and you're the maid of honor, what are you doing? There's no wedding. She put the wedding in quotes because it's not a wedding. It's a reasonable thing to do. It's an elopement. I don't even blame her for putting wedding in quotes. It's not a wedding. Being the maid of honor means nothing. I don't know. Also, Spain is a small country with good trains. It shouldn't be hard to go back on a Saturday for the wedding. It's not a wedding, also. Anyways, these people are annoying. This is why Reddit shouldn't be able to judge anything, because they're all 12 and they don't understand anything. This is kind of base though. Sounds a little overreactive to me. Blame her for being all about herself when you are being all about yourself too. True. You don't have to go because an invite is not a mandate. However, if you aren't going in retaliation for her not being happy for you about your job, then absolutely you're an asshole. Based. Good response. Based. Okay. I'm gonna end this here. I tried to I tried not to be as rambly as I was before in this video. Big fault of mine is to go on for too long and restate things over and over again, because I'm like, I don't know if people are gonna understand what I'm saying. I don't know if I'm being clear. Yeah, let me know if you liked the video. If you hated the video, let me know that you hated the video, and I'll correct what I can. I'll try to do my best. Thanks for watching. Goodbye. Tell me what you guys thought of these dumb stories in the comments also. And if you disagree with me at all. Okay, bye.